Greetings. Well, this is a happy Friday. It's cold and raw out. Hey, it's May. So, many of you kind of know that I've been dealing with some health issues. Way back before Thanksgiving, I ended up with some wounds on my feet, one on each one on the top of my feet, because when I got my new orthopedic shoes, the shoe store got me a size smaller. It was supposed to be in the 11s and they had me in a 10. And it caused these wounds. And then they got infected, but I didn't know it. So by the time that I knew there was an infection, I was in the hospital on IV antibiotics. And then I found out that I was having a low oxygen level absorption. So, yeah, I have this little gift. But let me tell you, being on oxygen may seem like a curse, because in all reality, I can't travel more than 4 or 5 hours round trip from the house with the tank that I'm on, because the insurance only allows you on portable oxygen, not those cool little portable oxygen units that people have to plug in. You have to be able to buy those flat out or take a loan like your car. That would equal your car payment. So, I have 4 or 5 hour round trip on the tank, which has its issues sometimes. Sure cuts down on where I can do what I can do when I leave the house. But, so I was in the hospital for about 5 days on an IV antibiotic, and then they sent me home on pills. And it's been a long journey. When you start dealing with issues, it always grows further than before it comes back. So I've been dealing with a lot of different issues with my feet and my legs to get to the point. Now the wounds that I started with are all healed, and my legs actually look really good. But I was in a Darko shoe, which is a hospital shoe. I'm sure there's other names, but most of it's referred to as the Darko shoe. And it didn't provide me with support for my left foot. It was only my foot would tend to slide around in the shoe. So, of course, if your foot is sliding in your shoe, that creates calluses. And then the callus became an infection spot. So I had to have an x-ray to make sure that infection didn't go into the bone, because it wasn't healing. It's not going to heal because diabetics don't heal fast, especially with the feet and the legs. We're very slow healers of the feet and the legs. So there's I'm at. I also got a little tiny little thing on my toe. I was watching the TV show SEAL Team this week, and this week and last week's episode was a retired, if you say, or a SEAL Team member that has obviously been through war and back so many times that they have developed a TIA. But because they're a SEAL team, they're not going to admit that they got hurt to the point of losing consciousness, because they know that they will be taken off the team for that if they have the possibility of whatever. So they kept it to themselves, which so many military do, that they don't report everything that happens to them when they're in combat or otherwise. So when they go back to the VA to, approach a topic that they're having, if there's no record of it in their folder while they were in action, then I guess they can't really work on that kind of a problem, unless there's some motivation or you're using outside insurance. And I probably don't have all the details exactly right, but this is kind of the scope of things. And I certainly was thinking about it last Monday when they were x-raying my toe. And they shot like 6 or 7 shots of my the toe next to the little toe. And I'm thinking, well, and then when I went to the doctors, they go, well, okay, there seems to be some kind of infection. We're going to do a biopsy to find out what it is, which took like 5 minutes. And then we'll find out whether what kind of antibiotic to put you on. So I'm kind of thinking to myself, they could have just done the biopsy 2 weeks ago, and we would have known what the infection was, and if it came back negative, we'd know there was no infection. But instead, they had to do all these x-rays, without really thinking about it. But here you have a SEAL team member, which is, I value him more than I value my life. I value a SEAL team member more than I value my life. And they don't want to x-ray or do an MRI on that person. And I've been having MRIs done and they came back negative. And, obviously it's kind of a waste of time. But they don't think too much about ordering it. Someone will pay for it, they'll order it. So why don't they do this kind of care to the military? I don't know why. So there you go. So at any rate, we're waiting for the biopsy from the toe. And then, so I didn't have an infection in the foot. So it brings me to a new therapy. And a new therapy is using a vacuum pump, wound vac, I guess they call it. And that's a little suction cuppy thingy that goes over the wound. You can look this up and it'll show you great detail on the internet. I'm not going to bother you with all that because why should I? So, not only when I move around do I have to keep track of this, which isn't so bad in the house, but when I'm out once I go out that door, I'm on my tank, which is on a cart. I'm also carrying around this. Ooh. So, I can show this to you now because it's just, we just put it on about an hour and a half ago or so. So there's nothing in it. So I can show it to you because it's not full of goo. So this is a battery operated pump. And so I carry this. This is going to be my buddy. Going to be walking around with it wherever I go. I just realized that the charging cable for this is out in the car. And I can't get to it. Because that would be me and my oxygen tank and everything will have to go outside all at once. So that'll be interesting. But at any rate, this is technology. You got a little pump that travels around. Well, I guess if they didn't have this kind of technology, they would have you in a hospital bed until it heals. And going to the hospital is kind of like a chances you're going to get infected with something else in a hospital is so high. Even the cleanest of hospitals, it's just germ frenzy. So this is where I'm at. I don't know how long I'm going to have it for. I'm not going to reference it again in a future video. And I just thought I would share this kind of cool stuff. Cool stuff. But obviously, other than that, I'm doing all right. I move around and do things and do videos of things going on in my life. I'm working on entering a contest for Rode microphones. So I have a Rode microphone, and I've posted my video already that I'm submitting on YouTube. I hope that you've watched it and shared it with your friends. And on your Facebook page, if you like, I think it came out really good. If you listen really carefully, you're going to hear some kids screaming. It was kind of the coolest thing that there was a group of kids behind me. They weren't close behind me. They were like maybe 30 feet or so behind me on the sidewalk. And I was kind of in the parking lot. I was really close to where they were launching, as you can imagine by seeing the fireworks, because I had my wide-angle lens on my camcorder and the Rode mic. And there were these kids that were probably under 10. And every time a really good fireworks would go off, they'd all scream, you know? And I was thinking to myself, boy, I wish I had a camera pointed at them. And I wasn't prepared for a second shoot. It'd be interesting. I tried to do it somewhere. I tried giving my daughter a camera and having her shoot the crowd. Don't shoot anything but the crowd. Point the camera at the crowd and leave it there. And she didn't think I wanted 30 minutes of crowd. She thought I only wanted 10 seconds of crowd. So then I got 10 seconds of crowd and another 25 minutes of fireworks. But, you know, it's hard to teach your vision of shooting a video. So anyway, if you listen to it, you're going to hear mostly probably towards the end of the video. It's only 3 minutes long, so there's a better chance. If you watch the full video, which is in my playlist called Founders Day, you could probably hear it too if you want that one. They didn't get ramped up until like halfway through the fireworks display. So it was really kind of funny in a way. So I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. We, of course, it's rainy, mucky, and damp outside. It was supposed to hit 60 today, and it didn't hit 60. I think it hit 45. Hey, but that's what New England is all about. Wish you all well, and ta-ta, and go hug a fairy.